So in today's session, we will cover about Sandbox. Okay. So Sandbox means before giving the introduction about Sandbox, okay, in real time, there is no concept of developer edition, right? So whatever we have worked with developer edition, it's only for practice. In real time, we don't have a concept called developer edition. Okay. This is only for practice purpose, whatever we have done so far. Okay, or you can say this is a for demo or practice or something. Okay, now in real time, what will happen? Okay, we will purchase some production organization. Production organization which will be in four types of licenses, as you know, right? You remember, right? Essential. In first session, we have seen essential and then professional, right? And then enterprise and then unlimited. So in real time, these are the four organizations will be there to purchase. Okay. So we have one flexibility. We can sign up for this for 30 days free trial. Okay. We can sign up for 40 days, 30 days of free trial. Okay. And we can just see how we can work with this. Okay. In real time, any one of this will be there. Okay. Suppose say that we have production environment. Okay. And this is professional edition. Okay, and this is professional edition. And now what will happen from this professional edition? This is the professional edition org. Okay, this is the real time environment. In real time, we will take a copy of the production organization. Okay, we will take a copy. Okay, we will take a copy from this exact similar to this. We will take one copy. Okay, whatever it is there in the production, similarly all the changes will be come in Sandbox. Okay, this entire copy of a production organization is called Sandbox. Okay, so basically in production we don't do any developments. Okay, we do developments in Sandbox. We do development in Sandbox. Okay, and we do developments in, I mean, we do testing in Sandbox. Testing and development will be completely in Sandbox. Okay. Once the testing is completed in Sandbox, okay, we will push it to production. First, we'll take copy. We will do development here. Okay. Once the development and testing is completed, we will do production. Okay. So even if you do one development today and you have pushed to production, okay, maybe next week you have done one more development. Okay, again you have to do the development in Sandbox and you need to push it to production. Okay, for example, we'll sign up with this professional org. Okay, and we'll see how to create Sandbox. Okay, and and we have so many things to discuss regarding the Sandbox. What we can do, we can spin a Sandbox. Okay, and we can discuss later once the sandbox initiation is done. So go 30 days trial. Okay, sign up with 30 days trial Salesforce. Okay, here you can see, right? This would be if it's mentioned PE, right? This link mentions PE. That means it is a professional edition. So we can sign up with professional edition with the link. Okay, so open this link. You will get similar form. However, you are signed up with developer edition, right? So now fill all the informations. Okay. Okay, this will be there for 30 days. Okay, and give the email address. Okay, and start my free trial. So similarly, like when we are signing up with developer edition, okay, so this also will take a minute, okay, in order to get the verification link to our mailbox. Meanwhile, we can just see, okay, before using this, okay, just here you can see one notification, right? Please check your email account so that we can confirm it in order to use this. Okay. So, and also you can see it's mentioned 30 days free trial, right? And this is a professional org. Okay. For now, I'll log out from this. Okay, I'll log out. I have been logged out. Okay, I'll wait for the email. Let the email comes. Okay. So meanwhile, okay, so just in Google, right? Search for sign up with 30 days trial Salesforce, right? And fill the form and verify the link. Okay. So once you've done this, your professional organization will be ready. Okay. So, see, we got one email, right? So from the support.salesforce.com. So it's showing that thanks for signing up with Salesforce. Okay. And we have a username here. It's created by system, right? So click on this verify account. Okay. So once you click on this, it will ask you to re-enter the password, right? I mean, it is asking you to create a password, so create it. Okay, and just give some security questions and click on change password. Okay, so we had logged in and we verified it. Okay, again, I'll log out because I'll log out just for a reason, small reason. Okay, so whenever you're logging in up with production organization, okay, you need to use production URL, right? What is the production URL? Is login.salesforce.com will be your production organization, right? This is your production URL. So login.salesforce.com. Okay, so login with different name. So take this username, paste it here. Okay, login. Okay, save it. I really don't want to register my phone. So now, if you want to check regarding the organization, As you know, initially we have seen some options, right? Company information, right? So here you can see it is mentioned as professional organization, right? Even if you see license, you have active 5 Salesforce license by default, right? And here you can see totally you have only 4 licenses, right? Professional organization will be having only limited resource. Okay. So, and even if you want to check the data space, you remember, right? In developer edition, we had only 5 MB of data and 20 MB of file. Okay. If you click on view, you can see, right? It's having 10 GB of data storage, 11.5 GB of file storage, right? So like this, you can explore, just see the informations, what is there and what is not there. Okay. So now this is the production organization, right? So now you should not do any developments here. Okay. This is not the place to development. These are all are real-time datas. Okay. So you should not do any developments in this place. Okay. Just consider that this is your real time. Okay. Even though it's sample data, okay, just consider this is your real time data. Okay, here you can see some real time data. It's mentioned sample, right? Just consider that this real time data looks like this. Okay, right. So you can explore all those things, just explore all the features, whatever it is there, whatever it is not there. Now we'll create a sandbox. Okay, go to setup, search for sandbox. This option will not be there in the developer edition. This will be there only in the mm, paid versions. Okay, so click on sandbox. So here you can see there are 4 types of sandboxes available. We will discuss all those things. First, we'll initiate a sandbox. Okay, here for professional edition, you can create only developer sandbox. Okay, we'll create developer sandbox and then I'll come for the explanation. Click on new. I'll just take a screenshot of this so that it would be helpful for me to explain. Okay, so now I'll just initiate one sandbox. Here I have 10 sandbox I can create. Okay, I'll just click on next. Okay, before clicking, I'll just mention this as dev. Okay, I'll just tell you why I am keeping this name. I just kept the name as dev and then select next. Okay, and here it's asking you to mention any Apex class. Don't worry about that. Just click on create. Okay, so now it is in queue. Okay, so this will take little time to initiate the sandbox. Okay, let it be in this status. Okay, we'll come back and we will check after some time. Meanwhile, okay, so now we will learn about sandbox. So as you know that sandbox is a copy of a production, right? If you take sandbox, you have 4 types. One is developer, second one is developer pro, third one is partial copy, fourth one is full copy. Okay, now what is the difference between these 4 sandboxes? Okay, so as it is directly mentioned, the first one is refresh interval, right? So what is mean by this refresh interval? We will have some. discussion on that. Okay, suppose say that I have done some development. Okay, I have done some development. In this sandbox, I just made some development, and that development I pushed to production. Okay, so today I just pushed one change. Change is nothing but development activity. Okay, so today I just developed one, I just done some changes and I pushed to production. From sandbox to production I pushed. Okay, again I just pushed another. Tomorrow I just pushed another change 2. Okay, this is done by me. Okay, suppose consider that this is done by me. Okay, this is one sandbox. Okay, so today we made some 2 changes and pushed to production. Okay, similarly, this is developer 1. Okay, and this is developer 2. So developer also done some changes. Okay, or else we can name we can name it like this: change 1, change 2. Developer 3 has done some changes which is called change 3. Okay, third change or change 3, anything is fine. Okay, and tomorrow developer 2 is doing some changes called change 4. Okay, now they have done some changes, right? And they pushed to production. Okay, so now in production, what are the changes are there? In production, we have change 1, okay, change 2, similarly change 3, and change 4. So in production, all the changes are there, okay, but it has been developed by different developers, right? Now, suppose say that developer 1 has to do change 5. Okay, he has to implement change 5. Developer 1 has to implement change 5. Okay, so developer 1 needs change 3 and 4. Okay, so developer 1 needs change 3 and 4 in order to develop change 5. Okay, so that is the situation, right? But in developer 1 sandbox, right, they don't have change 3 and change 4. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? Okay, so developer 1 will initiate sandbox refresh. Okay, so if developer 1 initiates sandbox refresh, then okay, what will happen? This developer 1, okay, the sandbox will get refreshed, and whatever the changes is there in production, right? Developer 1 will get a similar copy of production organization, right? Developer 1 sandbox will get a similar copy of production organization. Okay, so after they can develop change 5 and they can push back to production again. The similar concept for developer 2 also. Okay, so in real time there would be hundreds of developers per project. Okay, I'm just giving you one example that is called sandbox refresh. Okay, for example, if I have done a refresh today, okay, if I have done some refresh today, if it is a developer sandbox, okay, you have to wait for one day. The next day only you can refresh. Okay, in developer pro sandbox, okay, you need to wait for 1 day. In partial copy sandbox, you need to wait for 5 days. In full copy sandbox, we need to wait for 29 days. Okay, so this is called refresh interval. So in full copy sandbox, if you done sandbox refresh today, again you have to wait for 29 days. Okay, 30th day only you can do the sandbox refresh. Okay, but in real time, right, mostly clients will use unlimited edition. Okay, so they will be refreshing the sandbox at least minimum 6 months once or 3 months once. Okay, so because if you take a specific change, it will take around 1 or 2 months, or based on the change, it will get vary. Okay, so mostly on an average, it will take 3 to 4 months to implement a specific change. Okay, so once the change pushed to production, in case if it really needed the previous change in order to push the new change, they will do sandbox refresh. Okay, this is the first difference among this four sandboxes. The second sandbox, I mean, the second differences between the four sandboxes, size. Okay, the capacity would be 200 MB for developer, 1 GB for developer pro, 5 GB for partial copy. Okay, same as source means whatever the size is there for unlimited, the same size would be there for sandbox. I mean, production organization, whatever the size is there, the same size would be there for sandbox. Okay, and in developer and developer pro, okay, we can see configuration changes. Okay, and we can see metadata changes, and we can see user informations. Okay, so these informations can be copied from production. Okay, in partial copy, right, the same thing in partial copy and full copy, same thing will be done as similarly like developer pro. Additionally, some sample records will come in partial copy. Okay, and some sandbox template we can extract. Okay, the same thing can be done in full copy. Okay, like however you are doing in developer pro, partial copy, all those things can be done. Additionally, they can have some chatter and history related informations in their sandbox. Okay, so basically, if you can remember, if you want to remember, full copy will maintain all the records. Okay, it's not a sample records. It will, whatever the records is there in the production, it will take the exact copy of the records to sandbox. Okay, in partial copy, it will take some almost some half of the records will be copied from production. But in developer and developer pro, you will not get any real-time records. Okay, only test records, dummy records, whichever you are creating, only that will be there. So these are the major four differences for the sandbox. Okay, now, so hope you understood how what is the difference between the sandboxes. Now I'll just explain a generalized model. Okay, generalized model, it's not a specific to any organization, it's a generalized model to all organizations, a common generalized model. Okay, so we'll just discuss that one. So suppose say that i'm having some I'm working with some organization. Okay, I have one production organization. Okay, just consider this is a unlimited. Okay, this is unlimited. Okay, this is production organization. It's been purchased by some so and so companies, right? They are going to start a new project, so they have purchased one production organization. And once they purchase the production organization, in order to do development, okay, in real time, okay, first they will create one sandbox. Okay, first they will create one sandbox, and they will create one sandbox from uh, this one. One second. They will create sandbox from production. First they will extract. However, we have created the sandbox like professional edition we have created one sandbox, right? Similarly, they will create one sandbox. Okay. So like this, right? Like this. Again, from the production, we will create one more sandbox. Okay. So this is sandbox number 2. Okay. And one more sandbox will be there, which is sandbox number 3. Okay. Now, this many sandbox they will create just to maintain the quality of the data. Okay. So this would be the generalized structure. So in real time, we will be calling this environment as UAT, okay, which is nothing but UAT called user acceptance testing, okay, or it may be staging or anything, okay. Either maximum this would be UAT or staging. That is exactly next to the production, okay. And one more, this would be SIT, okay. This SIT means it is for testing team, okay. This would be testing team using this one. And this would be dev sandbox. Okay, one second. So this would be used by the developers. Okay, right. So mainly this would be the concept like this. This is how it will be there. Okay, for developers, right? It may be more. One second. This is for developer one. Okay, and developer two. Instead we can do like this. That would be the correct one. One second. This is for developer one. Okay. Similarly, we can have so many sandbox for developer two, developer three. Okay. So like this, we have so many developer sandbox. That's why here you can see, right? There are 10 license. So we can create 10 developer sandbox like this and we can give it to 10 developers. Okay. So once developer will do the change, okay, they will push their changes, okay, to SIT. They will push their changes to SIT. Okay. SIT means it's kind of a system integration testing. Okay. Here testing team will be there. Okay. So what testing team will do? They will prepare test scripts. Okay. So test scripts will be kind of this thing. Okay. Test scripts means they will be having some tools. In real time, there are so many tools is there. Okay, there are so many testing tools are there. For example, I'll tell you some two tools. Okay, one is Proton and one is HPALM. Okay, like this you have some testing tools. Okay, so now by using the tools, okay, what they will do, they will create test scripts. For example, okay, I have created some applications or I have created some objects. Okay, or I have created some formulas or I have created some workflows. Okay, suppose say that I have created some workflows. Okay, and how to test that workflow? Okay, how to test that workflow? For example, we have seen some workflows. Suppose say that if account object is there, right? If account object is if account object we have in account object we have industry field, right? If the account industry is banking, okay, then rating should become hot, okay, or anything you can take. If the account industry is finance or if the account industry is banking, okay, then rating becomes hot. So we have done something like this in workflow. Okay, we have created this development activity in developer sandbox and we pushed it to testing environment called SAT. Okay, so they will take the steps first. So first you need to log into Salesforce, right? Once you log into Salesforce, the second step, go to account object, okay, or launch sales application. What is the third step? Navigate to account object. And the fourth step is create new account or click new account or new button. 5. Select banking industry. Okay. Save the record. Check rating is automatically changed to hot. So usually testing team, okay, testing team will be having more knowledge on testing skills. Okay. So they will take each and every steps from the developer. They will create a test script. Okay. They will create a test script like this. Okay. While while they are in SIT sandbox, they will keep open this any one of the tool and they will keep this step ready. Okay. So first step they will perform. Okay. So if they perform the first step successfully, right, they will mention this step is passed. Okay. So similarly, right, they will test the second step. Okay, sales application launched successfully, make it pass. This step is also passed. This step is also passed. 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 Okay, so all steps are successfully completed. So this kind of testing will be happening in this SAT. Okay, so once this is completed, this will be pushed to UAT. Okay, so in UAT, so mostly in UAT, it's similar to production. Okay, similar to production, but not production environment. This is similar to production. Here we don't do any changes. Okay, here mostly your clients, okay, are architects and managers along with clients. Okay, so they will do another round of testing in UAT to make sure that all are working correctly. Okay, so once the testing is completed, once we get approval, okay, so if our client says go ahead to proceed for production, okay, we need to get the approval from client in order to push this to production. Okay, so we will push it to production. So clients will just create some records and they will see whether the all expected functionality is working fine or not. Okay, so this is how will be there in the environment. So initially developer sandbox will be there. So that's why I kept the name as dev. If you remember, when I create a sandbox, I kept the name as dev. That is called the developer sandbox. Okay. Mostly your username will be like this, whichever the sandbox name is there. Okay. Suppose say that this is some production organization. Okay. Maximum your email ID would be like this, some xyz at dot production. Okay. And if you take UAT, okay, dot UAT, this would be mostly your username looks like. Okay, this would be dot SAT. So by looking the name itself, we can come to know that whether you are using developer edition or you are using production organization or you are using SAT or using UAT. You will get to know. Okay, so like this, the structure will be created in the real time. Okay, so if all the changes push to production in some point of time, if any developer requires sandbox refresh, they will initiate sandbox refresh. The exact changes will be reflected to the dev sandbox. Okay, or it will if it will reflect to all the sandboxes. Okay, and again the developers will do the development. Again the same cycle will be continuous. Okay, this would be the generalized model in real time. Okay, so now we can check whether our sandbox is created or not. Okay, our sandbox is successfully created. Okay, what we can do, we'll log in into our sandbox. Okay, so here you can see, right, login button, or if you open sandbox, here you can see login button, right? So the next available refresh will be there for 1 day. So click on login. Okay, so we need to re-enter the same user ID and password. Okay, I'll just keep it here. User ID would be different. Okay, password should be the same as production. Okay, save it. So now the difference between production and sandbox is clearly mentioned. Here it will not be any indications. Okay, here it's mentioned as 30 days trial, but in real time this will not be there. Okay, so for sandbox it would be mentioned this is a sandbox. This would be the difference between production and sandbox. By using this, you need to get to know that we are working in sandbox, we are working in production. Okay, and suppose say that if I logged out, how to log in with production? You need to, I mean, how to log in with sandbox? Okay, sandbox URL. Okay, as we see that production URL is login.salesforce.com, sandbox URL is test.salesforce.com. Okay, so you need to go for test.salesforce.com. Okay, and take that username and paste it and log in. Okay, so now you can see that sandbox got created. Okay, so uh, so this is how we need to create a sandbox, and these are all the sandbox generalized model, and this is the sandbox types. Okay, so this is how will be there in the real time. So I'll stop the session for today. Okay, and that's all about today's session.